Welcome to another 3-Minute VR, where today I've got something really special. Up until recently, I've gotten all of my Vive experiences out of the Steam store, which I expect is true for most people. What I didn't realize is that enthusiasts have been writing their own programs, and there's a huge number of Vive experiences out there if you're willing to go looking for them. And that's what we have here. Reddit user Avindair put together the Constitution class experience. It's a simple shuttle pod flight simulator where you use your Vive to maneuver a shuttle to dock on a Constitution class starship. It's not necessarily a game, but it has a lot of game-like elements because it is challenging to move this shuttlecraft around. The first level of the game has you facing the back of a Constitution class starship with its shuttle bay already open, and you basically have to fly straight ahead and land. That's not too bad. But as you progress, the starship, I guess it's the USS Victory here, will fly in at various angles of attitude relative to you, and you have to maneuver around it to come in for a landing. This gives you the opportunity to explore the outside of the starship, and it fulfilled so many of my geeky childhood dreams of actually being in the Star Trek universe. Here as I'm flying past the bridge towards the engines, my adrenaline was up, and I was occasionally giggling to myself. I was so excited. I was sufficiently caught up in the moment, I even waved to the bridge crew as I flew past. Now you'll notice that the interior of the shuttlecraft and its controls don't mimic what you'd see in the Star Trek universe, and that's because this was sort of an experiment with user interface. And that's fine, because you're not loading this up to see the inside of the shuttlecraft, you're coming here to see what it's like to be beside a life-sized Constitution-class starship. One of the cool things about flying around the starship like this is realizing just how small it really is. Avindair built this simulation using the Sinclair blueprints and the Franz Joseph blueprints and others, and he feels that he's nailed the size. Oh man, look at the saucer section, that's awesome. It just turns out that the Enterprise wasn't as big as you imagined. The physics model used for the shuttlecraft is Newtonian, but a bit of drag has been added to make it controllable. Even with that drag, you have to fly the shuttlecraft very carefully. It's more like piloting a space tugboat than a fighter. Maneuvering for the final approach is especially tricky, so I'm just going to speed up the rest of this video to get to the landing. The shuttle controls are fairly simple to understand, if difficult to master. There's a stick that controls pitch and roll, the other one controls yaw and vertical thrust. And the throttle, of course, controls forward and reverse thrust. When you're just starting out, it's easy to forget what controls what. So Avindair has helpfully included a poster in the shuttlecraft. It's on the back wall, just turn around and take a look. If you've ever been a Star Trek fan, this is an experience you have to try. Avindair is continuing to improve the simulation with plans for another ship, as well as a mode that has you trying to land while combat takes place around you. Check out the notes below to see where you can go to download the Constitution class experience, as well as to another video by Avindair where he explains why and how he created the simulation. Attention passengers, we have successfully docked. Thank you for flying 3-Minute VR. We know you have other virtual shuttlecraft choices available, and we're pleased you chose to travel with us.